Okay. Rob Grimes with the IFBTA, and I'm very pleased today to be with Niko Papademetriou, who is the Vice President of Business Development for Q, and they are our newest regional industry partner member.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Thank you.
So what do you see are the industry trends, A, from your perspective as a supplier to the industry, but also what people on the street are telling you from the operator standpoint?
Gosh, I think that the third-party marketplaces and the delivery service providers have been the latest in a long line over these last 5 years of really turning the industry upside down. I think one of the problems, and this is a constant in the operators world today, is that we want to implement something new, something to engage our guests better. That's always the driver of these technological shifts, right? We want to engage our guests in a better fashion today.
Right.
And so providing that in a way that is bi-directional with the largest players in the marketplace is of great value to our brand partners.
But today, a lot of those third parties and other people are going to be integration partners to you.
That's right.
So I'm just sort of curious, since you're looking, let's look 3 to 5 years out.
Sure.
You know, I go to a lot of conferences on this subject, and you hear the operators being concerned about who's actually going to own the customer at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, will they go to a specific place to order?
Sure.
And by the way, with ghost kitchens and things like that, they may actually over time decide that the pizza that comes from this place doesn't have to have the brand on it, right?
That's right.
Well, what happens to you, the technology provider, at that point if the technology ends up being provided by the third party and then bringing it in?
Terrific question. The great thing is that we have a solution for that. We have an answer for that exact question, which virtually everyone in the market is asking today. We have a product as part of our solution that can integrate natively with the biggest players in the market space, Uber Eats, Grubhub Seamless, and DoorDash. We can integrate bi-directionally with them today.
Can you consolidate?
So not only can we then consolidate as part of our core omni-channel back of house, but we can actually work to bring that customer back to the restaurant, even when through that third-party marketplace. It's something that we'll be bringing to market in just a few months, and it's something that we're extremely proud of. To your point, the data is extremely important. The guest engagement is the most important, but for operators to be able to be successful into the future, they still need to know who their customer is today, and they need to be able to engage that customer.
But even with that shift, you know, you've mentioned the customer and engagement with the customer. Even with that shift in technology that way, that means over time that you're going to spend more and more time developing your technology to be in the customer's hands.
That's right.
As much as it is the operator's hands.
That's right. That's absolutely
Which
right.
also means probably integration and partnering with people you may not be thinking of today, but 3 to 5 years down the road become, you know, their application of choice.
That's
that
exactly
you need to
right.
work with.
We're nothing if not forward thinking. Everything that we've done to architect the product, every technology that we've chosen to use is one that we believe can infinitely scale, not just in volume or transaction size or number of brands or brand partners, but the ability to provide a solution that moves forward with our brand partners' needs in a marketplace that we don't know what it's going to look like. We've positioned the company to be able to do that.
So, how old's the company? Is it 6 years?
7 years now.
7 years. Okay,
Yeah.
so 7 years, and we've had this growth to point now, and you know you've actually brought in new leadership. You've brought in some funding. You know, you've got the product set is evolving out there. You're scoring some big clients out there. So, if we're sitting here 3 years from now, where do you think you are?
3 years is a great number.
It's a long time. I can't say 5. That's too far away, right?
No, 3 is great. It's a terrific number. It's a number I'm particularly excited about. 3 years for us looks like a lot of the same, but a lot of things that we don't think the market necessarily knows is coming yet. So what we want to do in 3 years from now is to continue to provide the best point-of-sale platform or transaction engine for operators today, while being able to take that a level above, okay, and create a endlessly extendable API-driven platform for restaurants. Because as much as the definition of point of sale has changed from 3 or 5 years ago to today, we believe it's going to change more over the next 3 to 5 years.
So, by the way, I think I need to help the marketing pitch here
Sure.
right now on this,
Okay.
the sales pitch. But I understood what you just said.
Right.
But if
Not
I'm an
everybody does.
operator sitting
Sure.
here listening, you know, to some of these terms and things, I think where you need to position yourself to be is that they need to understand that you understand how they need to be positioned.
Certainly.
And then in very simple form,
Yes.
they just need to sort of put themselves in your hands.
Absolutely.
And do that. And do you find that that is what happens, or do you find they really want to be engaged in this? How does that work?
I think if the restaurant industry had one vision across it, then a lot of companies would be a lot better at doing what they do. There is a wide swath of needs and of thoughts on how technology should work to better the operators' lives. There are some folks that want to give us their putty and let it be clay in our hands, right? And let us mold that technology platform for them. But there are other operators, increasingly smaller and smaller in size, okay, that want to own that entirely and own that themselves.
Well, you talk about some technology. It's sort of the thing that there are actually some food service operators that are actually technology companies selling food, right?
That's absolutely right.
And that may continue.
Sure.
But then there are people who sit there and say, our core is the food, it's innovation, is the guest experience, because some of them are actually more about guest experience sometimes than the food, right?
Yep.
So, so I think you do need to play to all of them. The food service industry has a lot of segments in it. Not just different segments of restaurants, from fine dining and luxury casual, fast casual, to quick serve, stadiums and arenas, cruise ships. Are you playing in all of those, or are you picking and choosing, your solutions to certain industry segments?
Certainly the latter. We think that focus is really the only opportunity to be very successful. We want to be successful for our brand partners. And getting into all of those other subverticals is a surefire recipe, unless you're doing it over decades, a surefire recipe to not be able to align underneath the needs of a particular vertical or some subverticals.
So is there a sweet spot for you?
Fast casual and quick service restaurant chains.
So really the high growth
That's
areas right now
That's
in
right.
there. And so no matter where it is that they might reside, right? Because a lot of times those things reside in other types of operations, which causes the challenge.
That's right. And I think that we can play in that environment very nicely.
Okay, so you have your focus, you have your product set, you're going to maintain your core, you're going to partner in a best-of-breed approach, but you also are going to recommend innovation in there and be something of a partner to your operator customers.
And let me add something to that. So I think the way that we can be a better partner to our customers and to our integration partners, our partners, is by creating a new, deeper, better value proposition for brand partners today. I think that historically, it's been the point of sale and the greater technology ecosystem in the restaurant space has been a Me Too game. It's been, they have those 5 integrated partners, so I need that one. Or the integrations that the leaders in the space have today achieve X, Y, and Z, so I need to make sure that when I integrate to that partner, I achieve X, Y, and Z. Well, what about P, Q, and R? What about creating a better environment, right, for our brand partners, a better partnership, a better business-to-business partnership, and a better integrated solution? Some of our integrated partners today love us. They love us because when we integrated to them, we said, what's the world mean to you? What is everything that you can bring to market for your brand partners? We want to ensure that when we integrate to you, we integrate and bring the world to our shared brand partners. And so we have deeper, as I say, deeper and tighter integrations with our brand partners, for our brand partners from our integration partners than others do. And our brand partners are the winners there. And our integration partners love it. When one of our loyalty partners increases their product and gives a great new value-added feature to the market, it either already works in our solution or we've already had the business-to-business conversation moving quickly so that they can move on.
So it's the beginning of the summer now. We know that the fall hits and we get all these trade shows and industry events in the fall. And of course, in the fall, you want to introduce the things that you want people to be thinking about as they make their investments for next year.
Sure.
So is there any summer homework assignment that you're working on right now that you need to get done in the next few months as you head into the fall that will be the big exciting announcements?
Yeah, there are a couple of those, Rob. One of those is really the manifestation of this greater platform. Getting beyond the concept of just that point of sale sitting on the countertop. I think that historically, these integration partners and working around a point of sale have been marginally successful, sometimes greatly successful. But the problem is they're not really bi-directional, and they don't create a single source of truth and a single place to manage your business. So for us, We're releasing a new suite of deeper integrations to make that bidirectional so you can manage your business from one environment.
Okay. So we see each other on planes quite a bit. If I sat next to you on a plane and I said, what do you do? You know, what is the 2 or 3 sentence, of what do you do?
Sure. We leverage technology to help restaurant operators better engage their guests.
Okay. And, just sort of as a final thought, you started your career in investment banking.
Sure.
So if we're still an investment banker today,
Yeah.
and Q showed up on your radar screen, where's it going?
Well, nowhere, because I was in the energy space. But if I were in the restaurant space, I would look at that and say that is different than virtually everybody else's approach at market. And that's something that I want to learn more about, because we know that when a market is being disrupted and someone brings something different to the table, it's worth a second look.
And you'd be picking up the phone and calling your friends and family and telling them to invest in Q.
That's right. Well, I've already done that.
And it's good to always not only have the conversation, but really to sort of talk, just sort of one-on-one as to what's going on, in the industry, because the perspectives are more than just what we do with our organization. So it's been a pleasure to have you, and welcome to the IFBTA. And thank you very much for supporting us and supporting the industry.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it.